Hello and welcome to the first existential and mental well-being video. So in Vedim I uploaded a video about being able to feel a presence behind me. If you want to know more about that, then I'm not going to reiterate it. There's videos in the cards. Pause this, go watch that and then come back. But you don't really need to watch it in order to understand this video completely. Essentially, in short, I can feel like there's somebody behind me. This usually happens at night time, and it usually happens when I'm alone and everything's sort of quiet. And it's horrible. But the reason I bring it up is to elaborate on it a little bit, because in that video I only really talked about the actual physical presence and being able to feel pressure on my back and feel like there's someone standing behind me. But it always comes along with intrusive thoughts. So for example, when the sun goes down and everybody else is in bed and they're being quiet, or at least they're in their rooms, or I'm in the house alone, or it feels like I'm in the house alone, that sort of type of thing, I get intrusive thoughts. I don't always get the presence behind me, but I always get these intrusive thoughts every single night. And essentially, they're thoughts that tell me you're going to be attacked. There's something behind you. Make sure it doesn't grab you. It's going to grab you. You're going to die. It's going to get you. It's going to get you, and all this sort of stuff. And if I'm laying in bed and I have one arm outside of a duvet, I get intrusive thoughts telling me that something's going to grab my arm and come from the ceiling, or that something's going to grab me from under the bed, or when I'm going to the loo and it's dark on one side of a banister, I feel like there's something that's there and it's going to grab me or jump out at me and stuff. And when I open the bathroom door, it's dark and I feel like there's something that's going to jump out at me even before I open it. These two things, the presence and the intrusive thoughts, join together to make something terrifying. And because I can't see it, those intrusive thoughts go one step further and paint a mental image as to what it looks like. And it always paints it as the worst horror movie characters. And I don't watch horror movies, and all the horror movie characters they ever paint it as, I've only ever seen photos of online. And that's just because of memes and stuff like that. So I'll picture it as Chucky from Child's Play, or one of the two versions of It from It, or the Babadook, or Freddy Krueger, or something like that, and it's always something terrible. They're never fully clear, it's never a full image, because I'm obviously not looking at it, it's just the intrusive thoughts that are telling me that's what it looks like. So I always imagine their hands. So when it's Freddy Krueger, I always imagine his clawed hands like grabbing my ankle or bursting through the wall behind me and grabbing me if my back's against the wall, or if my back's not against the wall, it just sort of being there behind me. And it's the same if it's Chucky, I imagine a knife and him stabbing me. But if it's the Babadook, I imagine its stature and how big that thing is behind me and how I'd be helpless if it grabbed me. And its hands would be able to like wrap around me. All these things just happen every single night. It makes it almost impossible to sleep and everything else. And it's terrible. And you're probably thinking right now, well, yeah, that's crap, you should go seek help. And be sure that I am seeking help, but the reason I'm making this video is I've come up with a breakthrough. Because I had a deep, hard think. I realised that the first time I got these intrusive thoughts, not the presence, but just the intrusive thoughts, was when I was 13. But guess what happened 8 years ago when I was 13, back in 2009? I was in high school, and it was about year 9. It was lunchtime. I had just finished eating whatever I was eating, so had some rubbish, and I walked over to the bin, put it in the bin, turned around and started to walk away, because I'm not about to loiter around a bin. So, the next thing I feel, maybe about 5 seconds after I've got away from the bin, like turned away from the bin, is a pressure against my back, a pressure around my neck, and then everything goes dark. I can feel the sensation of myself spinning, and then I impact something hard against my back. The next thing I know is I'm in excruciating pain all down my back, and I realise that my eyes are closed. I must have closed them as soon as the spinning had started, but I don't remember closing my eyes. I just remember realising that my eyes are closed. Next thing I know, I can hear lots of people around me, and I can feel their presence in my personal space, and I can feel that there's somebody right here. I sort of squint my eyes open and see that it's a teacher and see that there's lots of people around me, and then close my eyes again, because I don't want to lay there on the ground with my eyes open crying, because I was crying. And then I lay there for about 5 minutes. The teacher somehow helped me up and take me to the little room, because we didn't have a nurse's office. The teachers weren't, because of how state schools work, you're not allowed nurses. So took me into a room, gave me an ice pack, told me to put it on my back, and blah 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 blah. If you haven't figured out what happened is somebody came up behind me, put me in a choking headlock, then spun me around in a bent off stature and released me hard as soon as I was off balance in order to chuck me on the concrete slabbed ground. Thankfully, my head hit soil, grass in other words, and not the concrete ground, but my back did hit the concrete ground. And that resulted in me having 2 vertebrae broken and being off school for 10 weeks, resulting in me moving school and having to repeat year 9 because I missed 10 weeks of it. And it's kind of an important year. It's the start of your GCSEs. I think maybe that might have something to do with why I feel a presence behind me and why I get intrusive thoughts whenever everything's quiet about something that's going to attack me. Because in my brain, for connections that have been made and everything, that isn't an illogical thought. It's not an illogical fear. It's something that's happened before multiple times. People have come up behind me and bullied me, and the broken back one was just the worst example. So I don't know if this is an anxiety disorder or if it's PTSD or whatever else. I don't want to self-diagnose myself. I'm seeking medical help. But I feel proud of myself because I've now linked that event with these symptoms, and I feel like having a cause or having a possible cause, obviously I'm going to seek a professional's opinion, I feel like that's much more helpful, and it's going to help recovery or dealing with it or therapy or whatever else it is. And maybe that's also, and if it is PTSD, that might also be why I have such trouble socializing. It might not be my autism, because I do kind of dissociate a little bit as well, which is a topic for another video entirely. Hope this video wasn't too depressing. Remember, there is a collab tomorrow, and yesterday's video should have been fairly light as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll keep you up to date. Hopefully I'll figure out what this is and all sorts of stuff and get a diagnosis and everything, if I need one, because maybe I don't need one, which I think would be the worst case scenario, because that just means that I'm fucked up and I have to live with this and there's not actually anything causing it. I think I'd rather there be a cause. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more of the stuff like within this week, because there's going to be a lot more of it this month and a lot more hopefully afterwards. So thank you and goodbye.